Good evening, class. This is Team 1's presentation for Organizational and Management Theory class. The company that we will be presenting tonight is Yahoo. First, I'd like to introduce our team members. With myself first, Bruce Kodobaksh. I'm a Senior IT Project Manager out of Dallas, Texas. Our other team members are Terry Edwards. He's an Operations Manager based out of Houston. Ben Pettis, an Educational Program Coordinator out of Houston. Frank Mencia, Project Safety Manager, currently working out of Fort Hood, Texas. And Diane Polk, Senior Staff Analyst based out of Houston. First thing we would like to start off with is Yahoo's mission statement. Actually, their old mission statement, circa 1995. Their mission statement used to say, Yahoo powers and delights our communities of users, advertisers, and publishers, all of us united in creating indispensable experiences and fueled by trust. Now, if you're scratching your head wondering what all of that means, so are we. And that's why we did a little bit of a digging to find out more about Yahoo and some of the problems, some of the issues, some of their cultural differences, and the corporate strategy as a whole. And that's what our presentation is going to be about. The company was founded in 1994 by two Stanford University graduate students, Jerry Yang and David Fillo. It was a way to document and catalog the sites that they really liked on the new World Wide Web. Now, if you recall, around 1992, 1993 was when the World Wide Web started taking off, and it was still mostly centralized within educational and academic and government institutions. By the end of 1994, Yahoo.com had received more than 1 million hits. Now, by today's standards, that doesn't seem much, but if you recall again, the internet only started off in the early 1990s. So receiving 1 million hits by 1994 was a big achievement for Yahoo. In 1995, Yahoo became incorporated. And in 1996, it became a public company, raising over $33 million in initial capital. In the year 2000, the Yahoo stock nearly doubled. But at the time, many analysts believed that the stock was overinflated. And if you recall, that was around the time where the internet bubble was bursting or about to burst. So a lot of analysts at the time were wondering why the Yahoo stock was so high and why, what was the real product or service that they offered that could justify the overinflated stock price. In the year 2008, Yahoo rejected a takeover offer by Microsoft. At the time, Microsoft wanted to get into the search engine dominance area, which was mainly dominated at the time by Google. They wanted to basically, instead of recreating a search engine from scratch, to buy an existing format, which at the time Yahoo was one of the better ones that they were looking at. In 2012, with some of the issues that Yahoo had, they laid off over 14% of their workforce, which at the time resulted to approximately about 2,000 employees. Over the years, Yahoo has always struggled with profitability, and somehow it has always managed to survive. Now, if you recall back in the previous slide, I described that by 1995, Yahoo had over 1 million hits. Now, if you look at this graph, this is only the internet users penetration and number of users in the mid to late 90s, early 2000s. And as you can see, in 1995, the number of internet users was very little. It was almost 20 million barely. And internet penetration rate for these users in the US was less than 10%. Comparing that with the end of 2001, we were looking at about 160 million, a little bit more than 160 million users in the US alone, and approximately a 60% penetration rate. In 2012, Yahoo changed its corporate structure to focus on three main areas: advertisers, users, and technology. Prior to this, the business structure overlapped, as Yahoo content providers were also in charge of selling advertising and generating income. This is a very key point. Just imagine the person that was in charge of writing news stories for Yahoo News, or financial stories for Yahoo Finance, or sports stories for Yahoo Blogs, was also in charge of generating the advertising and income for those particular sites. Today, the business divisions of Yahoo are a little bit more structured. They are in three main areas: consumer mobile apps, which is a huge selling point and a huge penetration area for Yahoo, especially since the smart phone users are becoming more and more every day. These areas are the mobile apps relate to mobile mail, mobile finance, mobile news, mobile weather, and mobile sports. These are all apps that can be downloaded on mobile devices. The second area is advertising, mainly online and TV ads. They have purchased some Super Bowl ads, and they have a pretty good online penetration through banners and other forms of revenue generation. And last but not least are the areas of developers. These are basically developers, whether hired by Yahoo or third-party developers, that develop suites of products that can incorporate Yahoo applications, analytics, and other services to measure and monetize products and services on the web. What this means that they can develop applications that can use Yahoo statistics in areas of finance, for example, news, weather, sports, and they can incorporate those into other business and institution websites. By 2013, Yahoo had approximately 13,700 employees and 700 million users in 25 countries. In 2012, Marissa Mayer, who was a 39-year-old executive from Google, became the CEO at Yahoo. And she was responsible for some of the key changes that helped the growth and the major changes that occurred within Yahoo. Prior to her leadership, Yahoo's culture was not centralized. It was very fluid. It was a relaxed structure with various organizations overlapping, and really organizational reporting not being clear. This caused a lot of management issues and financial and bookkeeping issues for the company. Also, most employees had the option to either come to work or work remotely. This caused a lot of employees to only show up to the office only a few hours, a few times a year. Again, the corporate culture was very relaxed and laid back. This was done to basically allow creativity among the employees, to help the employees be in a relaxed and fun environment where they could develop new ideas for moving Yahoo forward. But that kind of backfired. The result was Yahoo's corporate focus and vision were not really clear to the employees, to the consumers, to the advertisers, and the investors. Nobody really had an understanding of what Yahoo's main purpose was. As you recall from the first slide that I showed you was Yahoo's mission statement. By just reading that mission statement, you have no idea what the company really stands for, what it is. And that was a big issue with a lot of people around 2012, where they really didn't know what the clear direction for the company was. When Marissa Mayer arrived at Yahoo, she changed the culture by changing some key areas. First and foremost, she defined a clear, focused vision for the company. She basically focused the mission into two areas. The first area was to connect people to their passions, communities, and the world's knowledge. This was basically the main purpose of Yahoo. The second was being a leader in global daily habits like email, entertainment, news, and sports. Making that available in the palm of the user's hands so they could check that throughout the day. Now just imagine if you have Yahoo Mail, how many times do you check that mail every day? Or if you're going for a news story or sports or financial stock information. Making that available directly in the palm of the hand of the user was a key area for Yahoo. Now secondly, the second area where she focused her vision was to communicate the vision of the entire company to employees clearly and frequently. Basically, communicating that on a regular basis through emails, through meetings, through corporate-wide events to all the employees. So there was no ambiguity or any questions from the employees as to what the vision of the company was. And then by doing that, really getting the employees to recommit to the vision of Yahoo. First thing she did, to the dismay of many employees and critics, she discontinued the practice of telecommuting and required all employees to work on site, making face-to-face connections on a daily basis. She believes that the way you can share your vision is not through phone conversations or through conference calls. It is through face-to-face interactions with our employees and your peers. Also, asking the employees to take a personal part in changing the future of the company. Really and forcefully driving that at home to the employees. And those who were not willing to participate in that were either given the option to opt out of that vision or to leave the company and work for another company. Since her reign at Yahoo, Marissa Mayer has encouraged and supported, nurtured innovative ideas from the employees. She has tried to create an environment where the employees are not afraid to take risks, and she regularly celebrates all the progress made by the company, however small it may be. Under her leadership, Yahoo has launched many mobile apps. She has also been able to purchase over 16 startups for Yahoo, and as a result, the Yahoo stock value has increased by over 73%. Now, today's Yahoo is global. Yahoo reaches over 500 million users every day in 38 markets in 30 languages. It is considered the #1 startup page in the world, yahoo.com. And the reason for that is that it allows personalization of data very easy. More online users are able to personalize their start page with Yahoo than with any other web portal. That means that if a user is interested in news, for example, or finance, or stocks, or entertainment, or sports, they can modify the start page through yahoo.com to be able to view that information immediately as soon as they open their browser. Now, the growth of Yahoo and other web portals has been due to the growth of the global online audience. In comparison, if we compare the statistics from 1998 to 10 years later, which was 2008, in 1998, the worldwide internet users were considered to be approximately 180 million. I showed you a graph that approximately 20 million of those were in the US. North America at the time had the biggest chunk of these users at 53%. By 2008, 10 years later, the global internet users had become approximately 1.5 billion, with only a 90% of those being from North America. Basically what that means is that as the global users of the internet grew within the decade between 1998 and 2008, the users became more diverse. They were more spread around in the world. North America still had a big chunk, but it was really more of the rest of the world, with one of the biggest jumps being in the Asian Pacific countries, going from 9% in 1998 to 33% in 2008. Now, if you compare that with the stock market statistics, if you look at the growth of the stock market from 1994 to 2008, you see that the stock market kind of, we use NASDAQ as an example. You see that the stock market is trending slowly. It made its biggest jump to over 5,000 in March 10th of 2000. And then it kind of dipped back down, dipping down to probably its lowest point in around 2008 with the financial crisis. Now, if you compare that with the trend of internet users throughout the world, you can see a steady trend from around 0% or 0 users in around 1994. If you recall, as I said earlier, internet only came about around 1992, 1993, that was available to the worldwide audience. So with almost a 0% penetration in 1994 and a steady growth to approximately 1.5 billion users by 2008. Now, this is something that Yahoo and other web portal providers have been able to jump on and be able to ride that growth to develop their companies. Some have done it better, some haven't. Yahoo has struggled with that throughout the years, but the available users has only grown, and we will discuss that in the next few slides. So as of January 2015, just some key statistics dealing with the data that I just presented to you. The total world population was approximately stated to be at 7.2 billion people around the world. 3 billion of which were considered to be active internet users. Out of those, over 2 billion were considered to have social media accounts, mainly accounts such as Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and so on. Now, as you can see, there is a close correlation of active social media account users. Now, this basically involves not just mobile apps, but also desktops and other forms of computing. But if you compare that with unique mobile users, as of January of 2015, more than 3.6 billion people in the world were considered to have mobile users. They were considered to have mobile devices. Now, out of those, over 1.6 billion of them were considered to have mobile social accounts. That means they were connected through Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, other things on their mobile devices. So almost half of the worldwide mobile users were able to do that. And as you know, the only way you can do that is to have a smartphone. And so that means that about over 1.6 billion users around the world have smartphones that can basically monitor mobile social accounts. This is very key and very important for Yahoo, because if you recall, one of their main areas of penetration and the focus of the company was to develop mobile apps. So at this point in January of 2015, somewhere between 1.6 to 3.6 billion users are available to Yahoo as consumers. Now the problem, as we described before, some of the problems at Yahoo has been that the company has always struggled with its identity. And employees were not really challenged or motivated before 2012. Many employees really worked as little as possible. Some employees had even had their own startup companies. This resulted in a low morale, and most employees did not really take an active role in the future of the company, which basically resulted in the lackluster balance sheet for the company. The company was originally built on the idea of keeping track of cool stuff online. But what does that really mean? Is that really a business concept? That was kind of the idea that the co-founders had at the time, but they never really made that leap of changing it from just a way of tracking information online to something that was a little bit more focused and more business and financial driven. The company culture was never really defined since the beginning. It was very relaxed and laid back. And this went on even as Yahoo grew to be an internet powerhouse very quickly. There was really no time for them to place a solid corporate structure and corporate identity in place. The company's scattergun approach to development caused it to be unable to compete with the more nimble and more focused competitors such as Facebook and Google. When you go on Facebook, you know what Facebook really stands for. When you go on Google, all you have is just a search screen. Nothing else, no other data, no other information. You have a very laser-focused area where your attention goes to with any of these applications. As with Yahoo, if you open a Yahoo startup page, you have this wealth of information that just basically thrown at you on their webpage. Also, since in its inception, the possibility of corporate takeovers has been a daily reality at Yahoo. Over the years, many companies have really seen the value that Yahoo presents and have been wanting to take over the company. And that lack of focused corporate identity and disciplined management has really plagued Yahoo from the beginning. But somehow, as I said earlier, it has managed to survive. Now, what do the employees, customers, investors, and other people really want to see out of Yahoo? They want to see a stable future. They want to see a sustainable revenue growth and profitability. They want to see a consistency and focus of vision. They also want to see an increase in employee morale. And once and for all, an end to the rumors of corporate takeovers. They really want to focus on Yahoo being Yahoo. Now, the graph on the right shows an interesting snapshot of where Yahoo stands in the search engine marketplace. Google, as of March 2011, owned a big chunk of the search engine market at 65.7%. Bing, which really was a newcomer, they basically came about from Microsoft at around 2008-2009 timeframe. They had already gained 13.6% of the market. Now Yahoo, they have been around since 1994, as we explained. By 2011, they were only at 16.1%. So they were kind of in the middle of the race, with Bing catching up very closely to them and Google gobbling up the biggest market share. Now, the overall Yahoo stock performance, if you just kind of grab a snapshot of about 5 years from 2008 to 2013, shows some interesting statistics. Yahoo has consistently underperformed over the years. It has not been able to keep up with the overall pace of Dow Jones and S&P 500. If you look at the graph, you'll see that Yahoo, which is the orange line, basically falls below S&P 500, which is the red line, and Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is the green line, and considerably lower than the Google statistics, which is the blue line. So it has not clearly been able to keep up with the pace of growth of Google. Now, Google, since its beginning, has had over a 76% change in stock. As taking a snapshot from its over the 5-year period, Yahoo has underperformed by 20%. Some of the solutions that Yahoo really needs to implement, and they have been really implemented since Marissa Mayer came into taking control of Yahoo in 2012, are focusing and reestablishing Yahoo as an internet giant by defining and communicating the vision of the company and the expectations from the employees. The employees at Yahoo are a key position of the company. It is only with the employees that the company can have a better vision and a better growth in the near future. Yahoo, when you really think about it, does not really have a quantifiable product. They have services and information that they sell or they provide free to their audience, but really their main asset is their employees. And also increasing the profitability of the company by creating well-defined business divisions for each of the major areas of income, and focusing on technology and development by investing in companies with emerging technologies in key areas such as mobile apps, entertainment, sports, and finance. Now, what this means is instead of throwing money on starting businesses and applications and technology from scratch, they can purchase smaller companies that are already focusing in these key areas. The key drivers at Yahoo are basically right now restoring Yahoo's financial and accounting core, basically making sure that the house, Yahoo's corporate house, is clean and managed properly. Hiring and keeping talented employees, and motivating these employees to take an active role in Yahoo's future. A key thing that, as I mentioned before, Marissa Mayer had done was canceling telecommuting and encouraging face-to-face interaction between employees to drive innovation. That's a very key, important piece of many businesses. Although many businesses are geared to be able to, for their employees to work remotely, and also in the Obama administration, many of the companies are encouraged to allow for telecommuting of the employees. Research has shown that that doesn't really result in good employee focus and involvement. Usually there's a small percentage of the employees that actually work as they do when they're on site. They take an active role in being involved in their daily activities, but most employees really don't, and they only work a few hours a day. They have trouble communicating with our employees because they are in a remote location, and so on and so forth. And also another key driver at Yahoo is creating key partnerships with competitors such as Facebook and Google. If you recall, in around 2005, although Apple and Microsoft were considered enemies, Apple reached out to Microsoft to take an active part of the company, and that really helped in the driving of Apple to being a company that it is today. It helped Steve Jobs develop some of the products that he wanted to do, like the iPod and the iPhone. Although it was a poison pill at the time for Steve to swallow, actually shaking hands and basically having a partner in Microsoft, it at the end resulted in the growth of the company. This is really what Yahoo is striving to do, with basically, instead of trying to directly compete with companies such as Facebook and Google, to partner with them in certain key areas that they can work together and develop their company resources. Now, some of the changes that have occurred, to basically summarize at Yahoo, are instead of being all over the place, the company is now more successful by focusing on the areas where income and profitability are already established and realized. And one of the fastest ways that they can accomplish this, and they've already taken major strides in doing so, is to involve employees and encouraging collaboration, and to also create an environment where face-to-face interaction is not only encouraged but also expected. Also, instead of creating software and applications from scratch, to purchase and incorporate existing products into the product portfolio of Yahoo. Good employees are key components of any successful business. And to do this, Yahoo should continue on focusing on hiring and encouraging and keeping the talented employees that it has and it will find. So some of these key changes, basically driven by Marissa Mayer since 2012, are great changes for Yahoo, and we do agree with the recent changes. This was our presentation of Yahoo. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment on Blackboard. This discussion and this presentation is put in the discussion board on Blackboard at the link below. Thank you very much for your time.